So I see Gratia really aligning with Magnet and helping to drive Magnet in. And Laura, we've talked about this in really the way I like to frame it and organize it really is in two big ways. So first off, I see Gratia being extremely powerful in terms of helping people build their culture. So first off, Magnet is all about building and sustaining culture. So whether you are a first time applicant and you're trying to establish those kind of initial structures and processes, or you are, a redesignating organization and you're really trying to evolve and build or even maintain your, initial momentum. I think that's really where Gracia shines. As you mentioned, it gamifies and makes engagement fun. So whatever your focus is, and there is just so much opportunity here. This was one of the things that made me so excited when I heard about Gracia was, again, whatever your focus is, whether that is strengthening your professional governance structure, whether it's reducing your contract labor, as we've talked about, boosting retention, increasing mentorship participation, which you mentioned, succession planning. I mean, the list goes on, evidence-based practice. You can really build a game and incentivize those behaviors and see that grow and flourish kind of in real time. And I think that that's really huge because as any magnet leader, magnet program director, a nurse leader in a magnet organization knows, half the time you really half of your job really feels like you're a cheerleader, just trying to kind of rally the troops. And of course, that will always be a part of the role. It'll always be a really fun part of the role, but it's also, I think, really powerful to have. I think of Gracia as this really awesome, handy sidekick that will really help you in that effort, one that will help you make the culture building really fun and visible and, really measurable as well along the way. So that kind of brings me to that second piece, which I think Gracia will really help out with in terms of helping to drive magnet or your culture of excellence, which is then capturing your culture. So, in nursing, I oftentimes will say this with regard to magnet is that in nursing, we always say that if you didn't document it, you didn't do it. And the same exact thing is true for magnet. So if you don't have the stories and the data to tell your story, then you cannot prove the culture that you've built. And so anyway, what I think is really awesome about Gracia is that it really helps to close that gap for many organizations. I can't tell you how many stories we go to collect and we just don't have. We have this beautiful story that we know happened, but we really have a tough time digging up all of the evidence to support that. I think that Gracia really helps, again, to close that gap. So it doesn't just support leaders in building the culture, as we talked about before, it also helps then capture that recognition and all of that data that then directly feeds into your magnet narrative. So, and I think that combination of building culture, of capturing and documenting your culture, I think that's what's going to be it's going to be a really exciting resource for magnet program directors and other nurse leaders in magnet organizations.